This is a dangerous planet. Death hangs in the air everywhere you turn. There's not even clean water to drink because the water is loaded with sulfur and swallowing it is as good as a death sentence. And on top of that, vicious creatures are lurking around every corner. One wrong move and you become their next meal. But this injured man is not your average person. He wedges his dislocated leg into a crack in the rock and sets it himself. His screams draw the attention of nearby alien jackals. Badly injured, he knows he can't fight them head on, so he pushes himself backward along the ground with his hands. At the last second, he plunges headfirst into a muddy pool. Riddick holds his breath and waits for the jackals to leave, but they just stand at the edge watching him. And the real danger is underneath the surface. The scent of his blood stirs something in the mud below. Mutant eels moving in the sludge. But fortunately, these creatures only eat dead flesh, so for now, he has to control his breathing and outlast them in a battle of patience. 60 full minutes pass. The jackals can't get to him and finally give up. They leave frustrated, and Riddick breaks the surface. Hard to believe that just one day ago, he was the commander of an interstellar fleet, but his own people were powerful and hungry for more. So they lured him to a savage planet with plans to eliminate him and take over his army. Caught completely off guard, he fell from a cliff.
You keep what you kill, Riddick!
Now, as he struggles to catch his breath, he hears a low growl behind him. An alien jackal has locked eyes on him and lunges. The two of them crash together in a violent struggle, but Riddick quickly figures out this creature is relentless. No matter what he does, he can't shake it. Seeing things turning bad, he pulls off the armor plate at his waist, ready to use it as a weapon. But right at that moment, something shifts in his thinking. He flings the disc-shaped plate away instead. The jackal freezes. Then after a moment, its instincts take over, and it chases after the disc. Watching that, Riddick immediately understands these alien jackals behave just like dogs back on Earth, and there's a real chance one of them could be tamed. But the temporary escape doesn't solve his leg problem, so he pulls off the plate from his other side, straps it around the broken leg as a makeshift brace, and drives steel pins directly into the bone to hold everything in place through sheer willpower. He builds himself a crude exoskeleton, just enough to get moving again. Then, using his exceptional eyesight, he spots a waterfall flowing through a canyon in the distance. There might be fresh water there. He pushes toward it immediately, and sure enough, deep inside a cave, he finds a clear spring. As he drinks, he notices something on the other side of the pool, what looks like a hidden passage. But before he can get a closer look, those same jackals track him down again. And this time, they brought company. Riddick pulls back and hides, not knowing that something far worse is lurking nearby. Then several strange tails rise out of the mud, and a scorpion-like creature explodes from the surface, latching onto a jackal's hind leg. The venom is extreme. The prey is paralyzed almost instantly. The other jackals scatter and run. Even Riddick breaks into a cold sweat watching it. He looks up at the vultures circling overhead, then down at the massive bones at his feet, and immediately knows this place is anything but safe. He turns to leave and walks straight into an even larger scorpion creature, his exit completely blocked. In that moment, Riddick grabs a thick bone and jams it into the creature's jaws to hold them open. Then, the instant it pulls back, he releases and uses the force to launch himself away. The creature seems unable to stray far from the water source and appears to be weakened by sunlight. It retreats back into the mud in fury. After all of this, Riddick finally understands the truth about this planet. Everything here wants to eat him to survive. He needs to rebuild his strength as fast as possible. That evening, he finds an abandoned cave with traces of past human presence still visible inside. He knocks over a stone marker and tucks himself into the hollow beneath, hidden from the dangers of the night, safe enough to heal. And in his sleep, the past comes back to him. After becoming a king, he let go of his ambitions and trusted the wrong people. He willingly gave up his throne and was rewarded with betrayal. Time passes, Riddick's leg finally heals, and only now does it really hit him. He has lost everything on this planet. If he ever wants to go back and take his revenge, he has to become the apex predator here first. He realizes at last that it was his own mercy that made him weak. Now he decides to reclaim what he once was. From that point on, Riddick lives like a predator, hunting by day and staying hidden by night. On one of his trips out, he comes across a den with 3 young jackal pups inside, but he doesn't kill them. He takes one and brings it back to the cave. After that, Riddick starts catching eels from the pool to survive. He quickly realizes the eel skin is remarkably tough, strong enough to be made into weapons. The meat gets dried and stored as rations. As his food supply grows steadier, his condition improves steadily too. Then one day, climbing to higher ground to get a read on the terrain, he spots something unexpected on the other side of the valley, a zone that actually looks livable, freshwater vegetation and signs of life. The only problem, the path leading there is completely sealed off by the scorpion creatures in the mud, but staying here means slowly running out of food and dying. So Riddick decides to take the gamble. That night, he begins studying the creature's behavior patterns. He finds that they remain active after dark and have a strong attraction to bones. A plan starts forming in his mind. The next day, Riddick uses bones as bait bait and captures a juvenile scorpion creature. He grips it by the head and presses the sharp venom fang against a grooved piece of bone, slowly working the venom out drop by drop. Once enough has collected in the groove, he transfers it all into a sealed skin pouch, then removes the fang and fixes it at the opening. A crude venom injector, complete. But the reason he built it is to develop a full immunity to the creature's poison, to figure out the right dose. He tests it on the jackal first, injecting a small amount and watching what happens. The jackal collapses unconscious almost immediately, but an hour later, it staggers back to its feet and actually seems more alert than before. This confirms that the venom works more like a sedative. Control the dose and it won't kill. So Riddick begins injecting himself. The first shot hits hard, his vision goes dark, his stomach turns violently, and his body goes limp like everything has been drained out of him. His immune system is fighting the toxin with everything it has, but if he can push through, his body will build a resistance. After months of repeated doses, the symptoms finally stop completely. The venom can no longer touch him. The moment has come. Riddick straps on the bone blade he crafted and prepares to face the creatures in the mud head on. The moment he drops into the murky water, the scorpion creatures stir below, their eyes fixed on Riddick from the tip of their tails. The two sides circle each other carefully. The creature's venom fangs grind together, producing a scraping sound that sets every nerve on edge.
Come on, show me some teeth.
The creature won't expose its head, so Riddick extends his leg as bait. That does it. The creature erupts from the mud in a fury, but the strike misses, and it retreats back into the water. Riddick decides to go all in. He lets the creature bite into his thigh deliberately, and with a body that no longer reacts to the venom. He draws his bone blade and splits the creature in two. After dealing with it, he pulls the fang out of his leg and tosses it back into the mud, just as he's about to catch his breath. He hears the jackal barking nearby. The pup had followed his scent all the way here, and was growling at the creatures in the mud. Then, without warning, a much larger scorpion creature bursts out from behind him. It lunges. Riddick barely rolls clear in time. This one is clearly the alpha, enormous and with power to match. A single collision sends Riddick flying, and it gets worse. The alpha's roar draws more scorpion creatures toward the jackal. Riddick charges in without hesitation, scoops up the jackal with his left arm, swings the bone blade with his right, and before the alpha can react, opens its belly with one clean strike. He tears through the mud and makes it to the passage on the other side. Looking back, he watches as the alpha creature gathers its own spilling insides and swallows them back down. Riddick has seen enough. He takes the jackal and leaves the valley behind. And just like that, a man and his dog begin their life in the wild. Thrived on this planet. Survival is no longer the problem. Food and water are covered. Then one day, the jackal comes bounding back, unusually worked up, like it found something worth showing off. Riddick tells it to drop whatever is in its mouth. It's a plastic ball, which means humans have been here at some point. For the first time, Riddick sees a real chance of getting off this rock. He follows the trail immediately and finds more signs of human activity scattered around. Someone or something civilized passed through here. Over the ridge, he finally spots it, an abandoned human outpost. But when he gets inside, he realizes what it actually is: a signal station left behind by bounty hunters. Nothing of value except a few packs of compressed rations. He tears one open, and it's a sticky, disgusting mess, clearly expired a long time ago. He just tosses it to the jackal. Even the dog wants nothing to do with it.
It says dog food on it. If you could read.
Riddick gives up trying to feed it that way and cuts off a thick slab from a large ham instead. The two of them settle into a rare quiet moment. Then the sky darkens without warning. The jackal starts trembling immediately. Riddick pulls off his goggles and scans the horizon. A heavy storm is closing in fast. The rain itself isn't the problem. The problem is what the rain does to the ground once it soaks through. The scorpion creatures buried underneath will surface, and if the storm covers the whole area, this place will become a killing field within minutes. He has to find a way off this planet now. He heads back to the outpost, activates the identity scanner, and deliberately broadcasts his location. As the most wanted fugitive in the galaxy, Riddick is the top prize for every bounty hunter out there. It doesn't take long before a ship lands on the planet, knowing exactly who they're dealing with. The bounty hunters move with total caution. They sweep the outpost fast, but Riddick is already gone. And to make it worse, he left a message behind: leave one ship and go, or die here. Riddick's whole play was to steal a ship and disappear. But these are bounty hunters. They're not the kind of people who scare easily. They lock down the outpost immediately. Sensors and detection equipment go up everywhere. To Riddick, none of it matters. Once he figures out Riddick is after the ship, the bearded leader pulls the power cells out and hides them. That way, even if the ship gets taken, it won't go anywhere. To draw Riddick out, he releases a female prisoner. And the moment she's untied, her face is pure terror. Because every time she gets freed, it means he's about to hurt her. But this time, he just tells her to run. She doesn't think twice and takes off. She barely gets any distance before a shot hits her in the back, and she drops dead right in front of Riddick. The bearded man pulled the trigger himself. Riddick watches from the shadows as she takes her last breath and something in his eyes goes completely cold. Then the bearded man calls out, promising to put Riddick's head in a box and collect the reward. Riddick almost laughs. He just found one more reason to kill him before he can make a move. The situation gets more complicated. A second ship arrives, better equipped and better organized. They look like a proper military unit. Their mission is also to bring Riddick in. The bearded man is immediately annoyed. He was here first and he wants the bounty for himself. But the Commander Johns sees things clearly. Riddick is not a regular target, and Johns isn't here for the money. He has a different reason for wanting Riddick alive, unless the bearded man asks for help directly. His team isn't getting involved, so the two sides work out a temporary arrangement. Since Riddick's only real goal is getting a ship, they strip out all the power cells from both ships and lock them in a safe. The plan is to use the ships as bait. When Riddick comes for them, he walks straight into the trap, but they're seriously underestimating him. When night falls, Riddick is already positioned around the perimeter of the outpost, and he's already figured out their play. They know Riddick's eyes can cut through complete darkness. The night is his territory, but the bearded man came prepared. His sensors can operate in the dark too. Sure enough, the alarm trips not long after. He pulls up the feed and sees an animal moving through the detection zone.
See it now. You want me to pop it?
Knock it down. One shot suppressed. Nice work, Diaz. Encouraging.
Got something in my eye.
It's called a scope.
What he doesn't know is that this jackal was sent by Riddick on purpose, and it walks off with one of the sensors in its mouth. That sensor picks up ground vibrations. Riddick grabs it and starts hammering the ground hard. Every detector in the outpost goes haywire at once. Alarms screaming everywhere.
What's going on here?
The bearded man rips out the power in frustration, then leads his crew out to replace the equipment. On the other side, Johns is checking the supplies. Most of it is untouched, but 6 large animal traps are missing.
Hey, Santana. You did sweep the area before I got here, right?
Oh, I just want to make sure no one set any traps for us. Traps?
What kind of traps?
The kind with jaws.
Don't touch that fucking thing!
What? Up armor.
Ready.
Then in the chaos, he sets off a second trap himself. The bearded man nearly jumps out of his skin. He backs up slowly and tells everyone nearby to stay sharp.
Copy that, Nunez.
But Nunez doesn't respond at all. He sends 2 of his crew to check on him. When they get there, all they find is a wide patch of blood. Both of them are already shaking. Then one turns around, and the other one simply vanishes.
Mess with me now. Hey, what is it? It's me! He's got Falco!
Never saw him, man. He was right here, and I never...
What about the ship? Is he on
He's not coming for the ships. He's coming for fucking us. Just fucking shoot!
The whole night passes like that. Nobody ever catches a glimpse of Riddick, and they lose 2 men, with a third missing. The bearded man clears the remaining traps with a scanner, but the damage to morale is done. He finally accepts the truth. He can't catch Riddick alone, so he swallows his pride and goes to Johns. Johns looks like he was expecting this. He lays out 2 conditions on the spot. First, everyone answers to him, including the bearded man. Second, he takes Riddick alive himself. The bounty is all theirs to keep. The bearded man can't find a single reason to say no, and just like that, the deal is made. Johns knows Riddick is at his best at night, so he orders everything to happen during daylight hours. They head back to where it all went wrong the night before and quickly find animal tracks in the dirt. Through high-powered binoculars, Johns confirms it. An alien jackal has been working with Riddick.
It's the same dingo-dongo thing from last night?
No, I'm pretty sure we killed that one. Could be the same one. The same.
Doll, get your sniper rifle and barium rounds now.
He decides to act first. The female sniper brings out a heavy tracking rifle, chambers a tracking round, and draws a bead on the jackal from over 1,500 meters out. The shot connects clean. Now they can track the jackal in real time, and the jackal leads them straight to Riddick. Johns takes 2 of his crew on hoverbikes and follows the signal, because he knows a spooked animal always runs home. The tracker leads them to a hidden cave. Instruments pick up traces of human presence inside. Both operatives power up their laser weapons and move into the cave near with care. Inside, the place is filled with basic living supplies. This is clearly where Riddick has been been staying. Then just as everyone starts to relax, a shadow drops from somewhere behind them. They open fire instantly on instinct. The current tears through the target and reduces it to ash. John shouts for them to stop. They move in to look and realize the body isn't Riddick. It's the bounty hunter who went missing the night before. That's when Johns understands. He walks straight into a diversion. He immediately calls back to the outpost and tells Dale to stay alert, but Dale is in the shower and doesn't hear a word of it, while at the same moment, Riddick has already moved silently to just outside the bathroom. He casually pockets Dale's compact mirror, then slides onto the ship like a ghost, using the mirror's reflection to scan the interior. He spots that one of the power cell slots is empty. He puts it together immediately. The real cells are locked in that safe. He slips into the room, planning to take out the bearded man and grab the key, but Dale shows up at exactly the wrong moment and throws everything off. By the time Johns and the others rush back to the outpost, every piece of communication equipment has been destroyed, and the words "fair deal" are scratched into the surface of the safe. The key never left the bearded man's neck, but he's nervous enough to open the safe and check. The cells are still there. Everyone breathes again. What none of them realize is that Riddick has been on the roof the whole time. His actual plan was to get them to open the combination lock themselves, then take the cells once their guard drops. While everyone is still trying to figure out their next move, one of the men senses something nearby, then Riddick appears from nowhere, like smoke.
You scared of me? Are they scared of me?
Yes, they're scared of you.
They're all scared of the wrong thing.
He has the power cell and stashes it somewhere safe before anyone can react. Now the leverage is his without that cell. Nobody is leaving this planet alive. At the same time, the Jackal starts going absolutely wild. Riddick follows its focus to the horizon. The storm he spotted earlier is almost here. Time is running out fast. Back inside the outpost, everything is falling apart. When the others finally find their missing teammate, he looks completely hollowed out. Once they get the story out of him, everyone realizes Riddick was just here. When Johns confirms the cell is gone, the whole group loses it because the power systems on the two ships are not compatible. The remaining cells can't be combined to make either ship work, which means if they don't get that cell back, every single one of them dies on this planet. While they're still trying to figure out how to find him, Riddick's voice suddenly comes through the radio. He had taken control of their communication system without anyone noticing. And then something nobody expected. Riddick walks out and shows himself coming straight to them, ready to talk terms.
I don't believe it.
The balls on this fucking guy.
I'll keep an eye on things here.